The fuse is easily lit.
I'm a street fighter with a secret past. So, sometimes people tell stories and none of them are true. Here we are at the Big and Hungry podcast from Nashville. So the set looks a little different right now. It's like
I still tip you because I'm American.
It does.
Yeah. Now, I got a belly full of Mojo's Tacos. We should start there. A couple things about
What was it called?
Mojo's Tacos. It's in what's called the Factory.
Okay.
In Williamson County, Franklin.
Sure.
Right on the outskirts of Nashville. Place I'm coveting because I'd like to live. You can get a lot of bang for your buck.
Yeah.
Get yourself some land.
Sure.
Get yourself a big old house that would cost you well into the $3 and $4 million range in fucking Los Angeles. Add taxes to that.
Yep.
But you get everything you need plus more in Williamson County. And I want to add another thing. I want to thank Williamson County. I want to thank Texas.
You want to thank the county?
Because the mask mandate has been lifted. So
That's right,
it's a choice now. Which is
here
so weird.
The mask mandate just got lifted in Williamson?
I went and ate tacos, and I was going to have some Jenny's ice cream.
Yeah.
And I was going to have Five Daughters Bakery. They got these crazy donuts.
Oh, I bet you just go sit in that big rocking chair?
Now, that's what you do, but I'm an adult, right? I'm an adult. So I'm not going to sit in a big...
Yeah.
I'm not one of those guys that gets excited about a novelty, and I appreciate that you do, because you do.
Next time we go, I'll make you take a picture of me sitting in it.
Yes.
Okay?
Yeah.
Brian, you got it.
Steve. Speaking of, because you're on a couch right now that's not even a couch, doesn't know what it is.
Excuse me?
That couch doesn't know what it is. That couch doesn't know if it's a chair or a couch.
No, it knows it's a couch. It's. I'm telling you, if you sat in this couch, it's extremely comfortable. It's a very nice couch. Do we want to tell where we're sitting?
We're in Theo Vaughn's place, but listen, that looks like it belongs in a dollhouse, doesn't it?
No, I'm telling you. I walked in. You think, oh, okay, it's a little couch for his studio. It's very comfortable.
Yeah, I know.
He did not skimp on that.
You're not going to hurt the couch's feelings.
Sofa.
You're being it's very comfortable. I'm saying it doesn't know what it is. It hasn't made up its mind. It's on the fence, and I have a problem with that. And on top of that, you tell me what color that is.
Well, it's between.
Yeah, exactly. See what I mean by on the fence? It's between. It's between yards, ain't it?
But it's still a couch.
It's a bullshit.
It's not a futon.
It's not a couch. It's not a couch. It's something in between, right?
This is a reading couch for one. It's got two cushions, so you think it's for two.
Yeah.
This is where you read for one person.
That's where you read for one person when you own a cat that sits on your lappy poo.
This is a couch I want on one day a year. Roy Wood Jr. on The Daily Show, he does this. He treats himself one day a year, and this is the perfect couch for that. He will order a deep dish pizza from Pizza Hut.
Yeah.
With all the toppings. He'll get a 2-liter of mug root beer and he'll play Call of Duty for 12 hours. Wow. And this is exactly the couch that you would want to do something like that on.
Now, so he'll drink 2 liters of root beer.
Yeah.
And play Call of Duty for 15 hours, is that what you said?
12 to 15 hours, yeah.
And what's his torso look like? Warm cheese?
His torso?
Yeah. Has he got any muscle tone, or does he look like a big baby with hair?
No, you know, like when the candle's done and like you left that out overnight on the table? That's what it looks like.
Yep.
Yeah. It's just like, bleh.
Yep. Gravity takes over and things go down.
You know when you take your garbage out and the bag rips open and it all drops out and you go, fuck. That's what his tum-tum looks like.
That's right.
Yes. Yeah.
And what I think about when I think about that.
But you could do it one day a year, right?
Yeah, but I'm not fat shaming anybody at all here. Because I'm really not, because we all walk the earth. But I always wonder if somebody has that kind of a situation going down there, cleaning your rumster is difficult. You got to clean your whistle. You're going to walk around with a dirty whistle if you got a lot of. If there's a deep crevasse, you got to clean a lot. It's disgusting.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? You want to. There's something about that.
No, that's who I want my Uber driver to be in August with no AC in the car.
Yeah.
That's what I want.
Yeah.
I want the pungent odor to hit me and go, well, we're going to LaGuardia.
Somebody wasn't cleaning their fanny, were they?
That's right, yeah.
You weren't cleaning your fanny, were you? Woo! This place smells like dirty fanny. In Europe, in the Middle Ages, and in fact in the 1800s, and up on through, no one really brushed their teeth, and certainly no one bathed.
Right.
And you would just put perfume on your body, and you would see people walking through and by the way, there was open sewers, so you would throw your bedpan out the window.
Oof.
And so you didn't have working sewage. So what you would do is you'd walk, no pathogens there, and you'd walk through the streets and people would be holding a handkerchief to their nose.
Right.
And you can see paintings of people walking through the streets.
Today we call that
London.
any BP or AMCO off of a major highway,
That's right.
I believe, yeah.
Yeah.
when you ask to use the restroom. It's like, oh God,
Oh, God.
when you ask for a bathroom key,
Mm-hmm.
that's always the roll of the dice, right? How bad do you have to go?
Yeah.
Please give me the key. Anytime the key's attached to a crowbar or something like a metal shiv that's heavier than anything sold in that store, it's like, this is going to be horrible. And then you enter it, and it's just like, there should be police tape somewhere in here. Someone has died here. Bad things have happened
Yeah,
in
because
here.
10,000 people have shat in that hole. That's really what happens. 10,000 people have shat in
And
that.
it's one of those things
outhouse.
where nobody wants to shit in that restroom. This is a last case. This is a last resort. You have to. So it's the worst of shits.
Yes, I took a shit in I had to go so badly, and I was at this outdoor shit parade. It wasn't even a parade. It was an outdoor fair, and nobody was there, and because they'd already kind of left, and I was in there after the world had taken a shit in one of those porta potty things. And I'm not kidding when I say that
Last call.
that-
This is me.
the shit was piled up. Like when I went in,
Oh,
you could see the shit, and I went, I'm not shitting in there. So I shat in the sink because it doesn't matter at this point. You just throw the whole thing away.
What is it? Okay.
Well, I couldn't shit in that. I can't.
What do you mean you couldn't contribute?
I'm not going to, no, because I was afraid some of it would hit my body. This is just too disgusting. So I was so desperate that I shat in the sink.
Yeah.
And I tried to clean it. I was going to clean, and then there was no toilet paper. So I pulled off my guinea tea, and I wiped my shitter with the guinea tea.
A guinea tea?
Yeah.
What's a guinea tea?
You know, this thing, my wife beater.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And so that's my story. I don't really have anywhere to go with that. Now, when
Did I
I
ever tell you
came
about-
out, I saw two people waiting. And I said, as I walked out, I went, don't go in there. Some asshole took a shit in the sink. Because I couldn't wash it out. The goddamn water, I couldn't get it the water
Yeah.
wasn't working. I was so, because I don't want to leave I don't like leaving any of my shit for anybody else to clean up.
Yeah.
I
I don't know
really
how we
don't.
got on the subject matter, but
Yeah.
if the floodgates are open, let it be known that if I were to invent anything on Shark Tank, let's say you work in a corporate, situation, you work in an office, everybody knows each other. I would invent shoe covers so it looks like somebody else's shoe, okay?
Yeah.
Or you just have a different pair of shoes, right? But you put something over your shoes so that when you go to the bathroom and you see somebody's feet under the stall, you know that person's shoes.
Yeah.
And then you know, oh, Gary's taking a shit.
Yes.
Like you want to
wanna be
camouflage your
anonymous.
shoes so nobody knows it's you taking a shit.
Be an anonymous shitter.
Some people are proud with it. Some people are comfortable with it. I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm somebody that if obviously when I do, I have to take a shower immediately afterwards.
Yeah.
It's
I'm
always
that
been
way.
my thing.
I need to clean. Yeah, I do the same thing.
Immediately.
Yeah, I gotta clean. I don't like just relying on toilet paper. But also maybe you shouldn't dip your head under the stall to see who's shitting.
No,
you
but-
just admitted
But
that.
if you see the shoes,
Now you admitted that
if you see the shoes, you know
you
whose
follow
shoes those
Gary
are.
in and you're like, see you, Gary. I
would-
see you, Gary.
I would want to take my shoes off and be barefoot before somebody could see my shoes and know, oh, Stevie's got a tum-tum issue. Yeah.
Now,
By the way, I'll also let you know this. If I ever wanted my wife to enter a room, all I have to do is fart. Every time I fart, she will instantly. I don't know what. It's like a duck whistle to her. She'll need something from me, and she'll come in.
yeah.
Every single fucking time.
Yeah.
And the other day, I'm by myself. I'm like, oh, okay, I'll just fart. And then she walks in. I go, Jesus fucking Christ. She goes, well, I'm sorry. Okay, I'm sorry to be a pain in the ass. It's like, no. Okay, this is. Every time I fart, you walk in the room. And then she laughed, but it's like she thought I was just annoyed at her,
Oh,
which I
for
kind of
just
am.
coming in.
Yeah, but every fucking time. It's like on cue.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't wait for her. I wait till she comes in the room and then I let it go so she understands.
Is that it? Yeah.
Yeah. So she understands what time it is.
Yeah.
I farted yesterday. You heard it. That was loud in your direction.
Pretty loud.
Yeah.
And you brought it up again last night, and I didn't acknowledge it, but I did hear it, and I just ignored it because I didn't want I didn't want to embarrass
Oh, so
you.
you did hear me
Oh,
when
I
I
heard
farted.
it. Yeah.
I
heard
thought
it, and
so.
then
And
you
I was
did
like,
it the second time.
why is he not looking?
And I was so fucking banged up from a little workout that I couldn't even get up.
I worked Steve out yesterday. I had Steve do 7 push-ups, 10 squats, 7 push-ups, 5 pull-ups. Doesn't seem like a lot, but if you keep doing that in a circle, it's a CrossFit workout. And
was
you just
brutal.
do that. You do as many sets as you can in a certain period of time. But you did really well. You just don't do that. But
I don't do
the
it.
problem with you is you're athletic, so you do it right.
Mm-hmm.
But then if you haven't done it, your body pays for it. Because you're going all the way
paid for it.
down. You're doing it all, and you know you can do it, but you just haven't done it.
Yeah.
So now you're paying for it. You look like you were wounded this morning, and we only did it.
I feel like I'm wounded. I woke up, everything's sore. My neck, my back.
Yeah.
My pussy and my crack.
It's my crack. This is a little break, guys. Go ahead and go to the bathroom while we
is my favorite dance move. Do you
while we
remember?
dance it.
Do you remember when you did this thing and it made me laugh so hard where you're like the tortured prisoner on a dance floor and you just put your arms up and you were like tied up and you started that and it's
Oh
just
yeah,
like,
where I'm
ooh.
being forced to dance, but I'm super
Yeah,
sensitive.
it's just like
Like I'm just a beautiful young man who's being forced to dance for a sheik, and I have super low self-esteem, and I just do it, and I barely make any money, but secretly I like it.
you jumped into that story pretty quickly as though it has happened in your 20s.
Well, it's just like that doesn't surprise me that I did that, and now you've jogged my memory.
Okay.
Most things I can't remember. That I remember.
For a young chic and you're not making much money.
Yeah.
If you're in your 20s in New York struggling to make it and someone says, look, there's a chic coming to town, he's really rich, boy shorts, what would your price be?
It depends on
you
what.
got to dance for 30 minutes.
Yeah,
in
it
boy
depends on what
shorts.
they want me to do. Is there heavy petting? I can handle it.
Really?
I'm making real money. Is there more than that? Now we're getting into a real conversation. You understand? now it's like
Yeah.
call me when you're serious. And then if now we got to get into some money.
Now we're getting
Like,
into
be
some
like,
more
hey,
zeros here.
what do I get if I do more than heavy petting? And I go, call me when you're serious. And I negotiate hard. I go, couldn't afford me, honey. That's what I say, and
Yeah.
I walk away. And then he's got money, and he goes, I got money. I go, not that much, honey. And now I've got him even more. See, the
Now you
hook
got
gets
him on the
deeper.
hook. Yeah.
And now the guy's like, well, what the hell? Let's play some ball. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
The point is, you're gonna have to dig deep in your pockets. You understand? Like,
Now,
we're-
what constitutes heavy petting? Just curious. Because I think we might have some different
look, if I'm dancing,
definitions.
if I'm dancing in front of you and you happen to be a dirty Japanese businessman or a sheik with a secret life, you're probably going to want to take me in with the palms of your hands. You're going to
So
want
you'll allow touching. They can touch.
I look at it as a massage. You know what I mean? You might want to massage me as I'm moving around in one place. You understand? It's just a standing massage. A lot of guys will take a massage lying down on their tum-tum, not the man dragon.
Now, are there rules? Are there like wherever there's clothing, you can't touch that area?
Well, again,
That's what I would.
Again,
I wouldn't even. I no heavy petting. I just wouldn't allow.
well, what kind of money we
eye
talking about,
candy.
Steve?
I don't want to go. I don't want to go. I think you would have an allotment to go a little further than I think I would.
Well, hold on.
In
You
what
and I
you've discussed
you
so
and I are
far.
straight men, okay?
Excuse me?
You and I are straight men, right? We
Yes.
agree with that. Now,
I'm meat and potatoes.
Now, I had a friend who was a straight guy, and he needed money badly. And a guy came into a stall. He was peeing, and a guy said to him, "I'll give you $3,000 if you let me suck your dick."
What?
Yeah, and he didn't do it, but he said, "I needed that money." He goes, "I thought about it."
And that's the last time he pissed in San Francisco at the manhole.
Yeah, but he said that, and I remember going, "That to me is not. There's no way I'm doing it for $3,000." But
No.
if you really need money, okay, and you're doing whatever you can to make it in whatever business you are. Let's say you're an actor, right?
Yeah.
And your rent's $1,600 a month, and you're slinging long necks, and you're doing whatever you got to do, right?
Yeah.
And some guy says, "I'll give you $100,000." Now hold on, in cash. Now
Yeah.
hold on. I can see you already. You're thinking. You see what happens? And you're a young man. And I want you to move around in front of me, and my hands are going to go where they go.
Yeah.
All right? Not my mouth, but my hands. Let me tell you, let me look you in the eye right now. You're taking that $100K.
I'm going to tell you right now.
What?
I really, even if I go back to my 20s, I've always been, this is going to sound ridiculous.
Yeah.
I've been a man of principle.
I understand.
I swear to God, I really don't think I would do that. When I worked at Caroline's
yeah.
at the comedy club, okay, my job was to see people. and I would have guys come in and try to give me $100 tip to get them a good seat. I was like, don't you worry, I'll get you a good seat. You don't have to tip me. I always did it that way.
You're a good guy because you do things for people. What I'm trying to
Yeah.
say though is that
Well, I'm not doing that for people.
yeah,
or
but
person.
If I give you $100,000 to let my hands go where they want, so where I go, hey Steve, is your whole body a free country, or do I need a passport to cross certain borders?
Well,
Now, if
I
I'm
would
your- if
say
I'm
I'm
your
a reverse
handler-
North Korea, South Korea.
Yeah,
You can have fun in South Korea, but North Korea, where it's a no-fly zone.
What if North Korea? When North
It's a
Korea, you can
TMZ.
go where you want as long as you got a chaperone. As long as you got a chaperone.
No.
Let me be your handler. I'll give me 10%, and I'll chaperone his hands. You understand? I'll control his wrists.
Can I ask you? Have you ever been in that situation?
No, I never have.
Okay.
No, I never have. But I've
had
never
dudes
also
hit on me and
needed,
stuff,
I've also
and I've
never
always been-
needed that kind of money. I've never been desperate. If I was desperate and some dude, I'd probably be like, you know what, Bryan, bite the bullet. Now,
For $100K?
no, yeah. Now, hold
So that's
on.
your price.
Now, if you want me to do stuff to you, or you want to actually have sex with me, I don't think I can do that. I just don't. I can't I just couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Right. I don't think I could handle it in many ways. But I understand how if somebody was like, I could handle it. If you can handle it, it's you're making the choice to have it done to your body as a guy, and you're gonna walk with $250,000 or whatever. There are a lot of dudes that are gonna do straight.
I know a few
or
dudes
gay
that have done that,
or whatever
but
they might be. You do
even
know
if you
some?
got I know one guy I went to college with.
Really?
Yeah, and
he was straight.
yes, he was a good-looking guy. I don't want to give too many
Yeah.
clues, but I mean, he was a playboy in college for sure. He's a
Yeah.
good-looking guy, and yeah, I don't want to leave breadcrumbs out because I have friends that. But anyways, I know a guy
I
that
wonder if he was a little bit attracted to men though.
I don't know.
That's-
I mean, look, you could give me even if you did that, you give me $250,000, and I went against my convictions. I'd probably need $500,000 in therapy.
I don't think so, Steve. Don't be such a baby about things. I'd be like, hey, dude, come on, man. You know what I mean? You're a grown man. You got
okay.
paid, bro.
Walk it off.
You got paid. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Come on, you got paid.
Yeah. Good one. You got me.
I mean, you'd need therapy if this is the thing. If you came away from it and you were like, that was kind of fun. Now we have to have a talk. Because now we're like, Steve, I
Right,
think
yeah.
maybe you didn't know that there was something about you didn't know.
Well, I did a bit in one of my specials where I talked about like a gay experience I had where, you face the shower head or you don't face the shower head. And I dropped soap, and it was one of those spigots where the rod, you have to pull up on the rod.
Sure.
And this rod was like that.
Yeah.
And everything's wet. And I went to bend down to get the soap.
Yep.
And I literally, you couldn't have, like when NASA is trying to put, like, you got to go to the space station.
Yeah.
And you got to sync it up exactly perfectly.
Right.
Like, that's exactly what happened with my asshole
Yeah.
and this metal thing. And it,
So the guy who was wearing the
like-
metal thing on his cock, what was he pretending
Jeremy?
to be the?
he's a person.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Was Jeremy
No.
pretending to be the water spigot? Is that and did
Yeah.
that make it easier for you?
Yeah, it was on Sex Island.
So
Bill
you
Clinton
bent
was in a
over and
dress.
somehow it went into your butt.
It I wouldn't say it fully inserted, but it was enough where it was like, whoa, that went in my butt, but I caught it enough time. And that was the question of, like, I didn't enjoy it.
And did
in
your
that moment.
brain go, whoa, not so fast. Stay there for a sec. Let's make sure everything's okay.
Yeah, I got out and I just thought, I never liked these drapes, and it's about time I fucking do something about it.
That's
no,
stereotypical.
that's stereotypical. I'm
You're
not
being
shaming. Okay, here we
stereotypically
go.
Gay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Listen, I don't know. It's all complicated sex, isn't it? Mm-hmm. I just know. I think you and I probably occupy. There's a spectrum to sexuality. I
Yeah.
think you and I occupy the very straight.
I'm
quadrant.
straight. I'll tell you, I've gone to gay clubs. Like at the Tampa Improv, there's that I guess you call it a transsexual bar now. I don't know what you call it. I don't know. It was like a what's it called when they do the shows? Drag shows, yeah. And they did the drag shows, and me and the other comic went next door, and it was fucking awesome. I had a great time. there was one or two guys that hit on me over the course of the weekend. It's kind of like flattering, I guess.
You were a cutie. Men liked you, right? Did a lot of gay men hit on you?
When I was in New York City, I'd get hit on every now and then, by some dudes.
What with your jawline and those eyes? Sorry.
I have no jawline. I'm very.
It's not true, actually. You have a strong jawline.
I'm like an oval.
I mean,
shaped.
you've been a little Pizza Hut eater for the past 8 months.
What'd you say?
You're on admission. You've been a little Pizza Hut monster.
You've been a good influence to me. Yes, that's for sure.
Yeah, but now you're starting to train.
Well, I didn't see myself on camera until we started doing these shows. Then I looked at myself. I was like, holy fuck.
Yeah.
I mean, again, I said it before. I look like a bloated river victim of myself. I look like a pale, like LL Cool J and Chris O'Donnell should be pushing me with a stick in a stream. Like, oh my God, what happened to him? Like, I look like E.T. when he was all pale. And
I don't agree that you look that bad, but I understand how
For me, it's my perspective. I saw it. I was like, whoa, holy shit.
But the thing about you is that I'm just sensitive. So if I eat the wrong food, I'm like, like I had delicious tacos, delicious. I'm gonna start eating like things like that. I'm changing my whole thing, but like they were at Mojo Tacos, fucking unbelievable tacos.
Where's that?
Now I had the fried Baja taco and the carnitas, some of the best I've ever had.
Here?
Yeah, and they're big tacos. I'm not playing around with their tacos. And I'm a little full though, And I walked over to get myself a little donut.
Yeah.
And I was like, not doing it. I walked in, I looked at them. I looked at the chocolate covered one.
Yeah.
And I went, it was big. And I went, I'm going to eat that and I'm going to feel like shit afterwards because it's going to physically make my body feel all like I have no energy. It takes my energy out of my body. My arms feel like they don't have any blood in them. Mm-hmm. And then I walked by Jenny's ice cream. It's the best ice cream in the world. They got that sweet cream or they got that fucking.
I like salt and straw.
Nope. See, I know you do. It's too sweet. Now, Jenny's is the darkest chocolate. That's just my opinion. The point is I wanted a milkshake.
Why do you want to cancel salt and straw, though?
Well, I'm just saying salt and straw gets a little too happy with their flavor profile.
They have great flavors.
Yeah,
their
like that.
chocolate chip cookie dough ice cream.
Yeah.
If I could dive off a diving board into it as it starts to coalesce, I would have like a little. I would just eat as I tread through it.
How much could you eat of that? How much could you eat of that before you were like, I can't do this anymore?
Ice cream is something I could eat infinitely. Like when I was in high school, I used to eat the carton of Breyer's ice cream.
You eat the whole thing?
Here's what I did. This is what I did. I would eat half of it, okay?
Yeah.
Then you shovel out. So now you have half of a carton still left in there.
Yeah.
I'd take 3 ice cream cones, the waffle cones. I'd crumple them up in there, and then I'd kind of mix it up with the kind of like half melted ice cream.
Yeah.
And then I finished the rest of it. I could eat the whole thing in one sitting.
And how would you feel afterwards?
Fucking fantastic. I would go play hockey after this shit.
You would?
Yes.
So you didn't feel like you didn't get a sugar crash? I guess you're out there physically going through some
No, in
shit.
high school, like nowadays, if I did that, I could still eat the whole thing. And there's days where...
So you don't get satiated. I can have 3 spoonfuls. I'm like, that's too much for me.
Not me. Huh. Not me. I want to eat until my body says, you've got to lay down now.
Yeah.
Like, that's me.
Wow.
Like, okay, we've taken it to...
Well, you took care of those fried pickles. We went to 55 South. You had them fried
We ordered
pickles.
5 appetizers.
You had the smoked chicken wings, fried pickles. We had them...
barbecue nachos. Boiled bag shrimp. And then, chips and guac.
Now, here's the difference in you and me. I had 4 of them shrimps without the sauce because it was a little much for me.
Yeah.
And then I had that red rice and beans. I
just got dropped off at a roller skating party, and I live in a trailer park. And my parents haven't fed me in 3 weeks.
That's right. And then we went home.
What?
Then we went home. You had yourself some popcorn, had some Ritz crisps, and probably some other stuff.
I snuck in an Almond Joy or two. That's my go-to.
Pushed Rice Krispie treats on my girl, and she was so happy. She was like, nom, nom, right next to me. Chom, chom, chom. I'm like, hey, Kid Dynamite, do you mind? Chom, 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 chom. And then you brought me those M&Ms, and you're like, just for you. And I was like, not eating them.
But Almond Joy is my go-to. My kids will always wake up November 1st and go, where's all the blue ones? Gone. I'll decimate them.
You eat all the Almond Joys.
All the Almond Joys, all of it. I'll dump out their bag of candy and I'll find it. I'll just,
Yeah. You just fucking take, because they don't like them.
Yeah.
Because they're too good.
They don't know.
It's an almond and coconut.
Yeah.
Now, I'll eat the fuck out of an Almond Joy, but one. In fact, I'll have half of one and save the other for later.
Here's the great thing about what we've done with convenience stores and airports.
Yeah.
Is when we were growing up, you go to the gas station, get a candy bar, and that was it. Almond Joy was 2-pack. M&M's was a small bag. Kit Kat was just the thing, maybe 5 bricks, right? You break off. Now, we're Americans. We got king size.
Of course.
So Almond Joy comes down a 4-pack.
Yeah.
And you can't land and not have all 4. I mean, that the terrorists win.
Listen, I talked to a woman who
My
sold...
stomach's growling. I'm getting hungry. Can you hear it?
I talked to a woman who sold pharmaceuticals.
Yeah.
And she sold diabetes drugs.
Yeah.
For type 2 diabetes.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, but people just need to eat differently and they won't need those drugs. It's super easy.
Sure.
And she was like, oh, yeah. In fact, people could take a 20-minute walk after they eat, and my sales would go down. Our sales, they've done these projections.
Yeah.
Their sales go down like over 30%. I mean, literally, like tiny little behavior changes. And the supersized shit is the best thing that ever happened to the diabetes drug market.
Right.
That supersized shit is the best thing. Those big gulps, the best thing that ever happened
yeah.
to the pharmaceutical companies that deal with type 2 diabetes.
Have you taken a road trip
cetera.
lately? You look at those things, you go, why would you get, and then you get it, you're like, oh my God, I could finish this whole thing.
See, now I could.
Absolutely, I could.
What's your favorite dessert of all time? If you had to choose one dessert, what would it be? Because I know what mine is.
Oh, fuck, I love, is the thing.
See, you can't
I get
even
made
choose.
fun of. Chocolate ice cream with rainbow sprinkles in a waffle cone because my father used to take me to Carvel when I was a kid, and that was my go-to, and to this day, that is my go-to.
Well, sweet tarts were my favorite as a kid, but I grew out of them.
Yeah.
I would eat those things until my tongue came on, like the first layer of my tongue was fucking gone.
Yeah.
But I'm older now, so I don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll tell you one thing I've never gotten over: Toll House cookie dough.
Oh,
That to me, Toll House cookie dough. To me, I'll eat until I get sick. But then again, that's like 3 spoonfuls.
now is this the cookie dough where you got to mix it and then you'll eat it, or do you want the like refrigerated ones that you got to dice up?
Hey,
and put in the
dude,
oven?
no, I'm talking about the stuff I make from scratch. You understand? No palm oil. I want fucking 2 sticks of butter. I'll give a half cup of butter. It calls for 3/4 a cup of white sugar, 3/4 a cup of brown sugar. I go half a cup of brown, half a cup of white, because I'm not going 3/4. I go a little. I scrimp on the sugar a little bit. A lot of people are like, oh, it's not sweet enough. Then I go 2 eggs. All right, you beat those in. Vanilla extract, 1 teaspoon. Then you got 2, maybe 2 1/8 cup of flour. I know it calls for 2 1/4. Fuck off. And then and I mix all that together. Okay, Jack. And then I put some Ghirardelli, semi-sweet chocolate chips in there. Ghirardelli. Okay, maybe Toll House chocolate chips, but I like the Ghirardelli. And then I eat that, and sometimes I leave the fucking chocolate chips out and just eat the fucking dough.
Now, how quick does this sheik that has money? How quickly will he ejaculate while he watches you in boy shorts eating the cookie dough?
That's a good point. The funny thing is that he doesn't like when I'm in the boy shorts, and that's the difference. But he does like when I'm wearing the cookie dough. Now, that's as far as I'm going to go with that story. Yeah.
Okay.
Because I wear the.
You
cookie
signed an
dough.
NDA, of course.
That's right. He loves himself some cookie dough, and on the sheet.
So why wouldn't you like Salt and Straw's chocolate chip cookie dough?
Too
ice
sweet.
cream? Oh, come on, man.
Yeah. See, they go a little overboard with the sugar. I like things that have like. There's
So
this,
a Mexican Coke? Are you against that? Because our Coke
Mexican
doesn't
Coke
actually
is
have sugar.
yeah.
in it.
Mexican Coke is fucking delicious.
Yeah, because it's real sugar.
I
Because there's no real sugar in our sodas here in the States.
I never drink soda ever. Like the last time I drank a soda was 20 years ago.
Yeah.
I was with my buddy, and he's the same way. And he had this ice cold Mexican Coke.
Yeah.
And he poured it, and he took a sip, and he goes, "God damn it!" I go, "What?" He goes, "Just try that."
Mm-hmm.
And I tried a sip of Mexican Coke, and it might have been the best thing I've ever had in my life.
Oh yeah.
Like I was like, "Well, this is." If you never drink soda and you drink an ice cold Mexican Coke with the cane sugar
yeah.
instead of the corn syrup,
Yeah.
get the fuck out of here.
That's why if I'm eating like a burger or a pizza,
Yeah.
it's like I can't have water with that. I got to get a Coke.
You do?
And now it's to the point where it's like I got to get a Mexican Coke. So I'll go to the store and I'll get those Mexican Cokes for when in preparation for Sunday when I'm watching the Penguins play or something like that.
How many will you have?
A Mexican Coke? Probably 2.
Okay, that's a lot, huh?
It's bad. Yeah.
A lot of sugar.
On top of all the carbs I just took in.
Sean, how many grams of sugar are in a Mexican Coke? Maybe Danny has it. Watch this.
This is going to be bad. It's not going to be good.
How many teaspoons of sugar, we should say? 39 grams.
Mm.
How many teaspoons is that, please? Or tablespoons? It's a lot of sugar.
Yeah. But it's fucking great.
It is
It's
fucking
fucking
great.
great.
It is.
I'm going to tell you a story.
It's about 4 tablespoons.
4 tablespoons.
Damn. That's a lot.
It seems like a lot, right? I mean,
Yeah, 4 tablespoons. That's a
Yeah.
lot. I want to tell you this.
almost 5 tablespoons. Damn.
I went to, not to bring this down, okay, but a buddy of mine I went to college with who was the best hockey player I've ever played with. We went to Kent State University together. His wife had just passed. And I want to talk about McDonald's in a second because I was driving home. I heard his wife pass. I got in the car. I drove 6 hours to Ohio to, show my love and support. And I got back in the car and drove back home.
You're a good man.
But this is one of those things where, it's like this day and age, it's like the world's falling apart. It's like sometimes it's like those things occur throughout the course of your life and you really have perspective. And this guy, his wife had some form of arthritis that came in to her the last 16 years she's been dealing with this. And the last quite few years she's been bedridden. And the last time I saw her, I was just kind of touring, and I went and visited her. And I remember distinctly she had pins in all of her toes. She couldn't walk. And it was one of those things where visually you see it, you go, oh, my God, this poor girl suffered. And this guy loved her so much, he was her caretaker. Could have dropped her off at a home, didn't.
Yep. This is his wife.
This is his wife. Stayed by her,
In
raising 2
sickness
kids.
and in death. Yeah.
Would go on lunch break, and on his lunch break, he would get in the car, drive home, eat with his wife, so she could go to the restroom. She's not going to the he's picking her up,
He's a man.
taking her to the restroom,
Yeah.
cleaning her off, bringing her back in, come home from work, take care of the girls, shower, bathe her, all that stuff, put her down. And exactly, for better or for worse. And so many of us
Man of
say
character,
those
a man
things.
of character.
And it's one of those things where you hear that, you go to the home, you visit, you see the bed that she laid in, and you understand through the trickle of information that his friends were disseminating to me over the course of the evening as alcohol was flowing and everything. And it just, made me appreciate health and happiness that I have, we have, anybody out there that you have, and the fact that at any moment, anything can happen to any of us. And it was one of those things where it really hit me, and it made me appreciate that this guy is in my life. What a great character, what great moral compass, and just made me think I may have done this, I may have done that, I may have got a movie post like that. I don't know that I would ever accomplish
Steve.
that.
You know why you would? Because you're the guy that drove 6 hours just to show your respect. I 100% guarantee you would do that. And that's awesome. And you know what's sick about me is as you're telling the story, and you mentioned pins in her feet, I was thinking about how they caught the serial killer and they found hat pins in his ass and in his balls.
Excuse me?
I'm going to explain.
Wait, hold
this
on.
is where my brain goes. So you're telling
Hold
me
on,
this
just can I tell you
heartfelt
this
story.
This is how your story goes. You took me right to a tomahawk steak. It's like, pull the chair out for me.
I know, and I did.
Give me, show me the wine list. It's just like, what the fuck?
I don't know. I'm just being honest. If we can't be honest with where our brain goes, you took me as you're telling me this heartbreaking story of this beautiful man and this beautiful woman, this love story. I'm thinking about, I go dark because you said pins in her feet, and it reminded me of a story I read where they catch this serial killer.
Yeah.
And he was a cannibal or something, horrible man. And they found, when they, in the prison, when you have to strip and they strip search, the guy goes, they found hat pins in his ass. He had stuck hat pins in his ass and in his balls, right? He had pins. He was wearing them that he put him, and they go, what were you doing? He goes, well, I can't feel anything. I don't feel anything. So this allows me to feel at least something.
Oh, my God.
Because I don't feel. And so that's where my brain went. And I'm sorry to take it from one story that's really sad to a horrible story. I hope you guys are enjoying Big and Hungry because we'll really take you down to the underworld.
Oh my God.
Yeah, you're on the river
If you can't feel
Styx.
anything, go with Bryan to a urinal, and hopefully a gentleman will be pissing next to you with $3,000, and you'll feel something.
That's right.
That is still the story that's going to be.
I'm sorry that I brought it to hat pins in the anus and the balls. I apologize for that. I don't even know what the fuck a hat pin is. I never looked it up.
A hat pin. They're long needle pins, obviously with a white stem usually on top. So you could put it in and put in a feather or like a.
Well, great.
You know,
Then they belong in your hat. They don't
not
belong in your anus.
balls.
In your anus or your balls. That would hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a tough thing with your underwear. It's a hard thing to deal with in general.
What else did he do prior to where he's like, it's not now.
I mean,
not
that's
there.
when you go,
Not there.
Yeah.
Nope.
That's where the psychiatrist
eyeball.
goes.
No,
Where do you start with that when you're talking to the psychiatrist? Now,
I know.
You
Put it in my
people,
butthole.
You eat
What?
people and you wear pins in your ass and your balls. Let's start with your mother. How is that relationship? Like, how do you... Where the fuck do you where do we go? You're obviously a little broken as a human being. We got some problems.
Carl, you're at the age you might want to check for a lump in your testicles. Funny you guys, man, check this out.
I
What
wear
the
pins.
fuck?
Lumps are the least of my problems.
Oh God.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand oh God, I forget where I was. But it was one of those nights on the road, and this is the thing about comedy. You'd never know where you're going to end up, right? I go out with some people after the show, and they got some piercings and stuff. They're like, oh, my friend Claude is having a party. We go to this guy's house. It was in Canada, and we go to this guy's house. This is when I was single, so this girl must have been fucking smoking, right? Otherwise, you just don't find yourself in these situations. He had suspension cables or whatever with, mountain climbing hooks where you hook things in or whatever. Sorry? Carabiner. Is that what they're called? I don't even know. It doesn't matter. He had piercings in his back where he would have metal hooks looped through his skin in his back.
Yeah.
And then he would lay down, they'd lower the cables and then pull him up, and he would suspend himself and his skin would stretch. And they had all these different kinds of weird things and piercings. He was the nicest guy in the world.
That's a Native American thing. There was a tribe that used to do that. They do
For what reason?
They would do that not only to their enemies, but they would do that to themselves to prove that they could, you go somewhere else. The pain takes you into another dimension. That's the idea. And so that I think originated in it's probably human beings have always done weird shit like that. But there's ritual scarring in Africa, different tribes, different Native Americans had all kinds of ritual scarring, tattooing. Human beings have always done these crazy things. I mean, look at Africa. There was that one tribe that would stretch their lower lips so far they put plates in there.
Sure.
The Burmese women who would
ears.
elongate their necks by pushing their shoulders all the way down, so your neck would be you'd look like a fucking human giraffe. Foot binding, all that shit. Human beings have always done this weird shit to themselves. This idea, and they're still people. I find that really interesting because I really believe that you take a birth, like the Buddhists would say, you take a certain birth, you take a certain form.
Right.
From the beginning of time, so when you go to a fair or you go to a outdoor flea market or like a farmer's market, you'll see a street performer.
Bryan, can I just tell you something real quick?
Yeah.
You paint a picture.
Thank you. Well, you know what? It's this wonderful. Well, we don't know what color this is either. This
no clue.
Charcoal.
Steel gray would be my guess.
Charcoal gray.
Yeah.
Behind me, which really brings out my eyes and the blackness of my heart. And then we've got the reclaimed wood on either side of me.
Yep.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Back to my point.
Yeah.
My larger point. If you look at a subset of any society, let's just take a street fair. You're going to have your street performer over here.
Yeah.
Let's take the boardwalk of a beach. You're gonna have a street. You're gonna have street.
Painting a picture, and I'm with you.
You got your street performer.
I feel like we're in a storeroom of IKEA. By the way,
you do. You got your street performer.
Yeah.
You got your junkies. You got your junkie begging for whatever. You got your muscle man who's wearing a tank top.
Where are we again?
You're in any boardwalk anywhere, right?
Okay.
You're actually in any epoch in life in history.
Sure.
Then you got your civilians.
Yeah.
And then you got And then you got the person with all the tattoos. Then you got the guy with the boa around his neck or the parrot on his shoulder. Okay. And I believe that all of those people have always existed in any gathering from the beginning of time.
Yeah.
Anytime there are enough people, you're always going to have the wretch on the street. You're always going to have the gypsy vagabond who's juggling shit for money or playing a song for money. You're going to have the guy who does weird shit to his body or gal who does weird shit to his body and face with paint and who does things like tattoo and pierce. These are all forms of human expression that have always existed.
Right.
Always. You're going to have people that just understand fashion, people that are really artistic, people that see the world differently. You're going to have fine artists that because they can't paint every minute of the day, they dress a certain way that's very different.
Yeah. I think that's the great thing about being involved in entertainment is, for example, I will watch a fashion show or see pictures from a fashion show and go, it's fucking ridiculous. Who the fuck is wearing this shit? And the thing is, when you are on set with somebody that's a costume designer and they walk you through fabric types and you're feeling these things and the color, and then they're putting together this patchwork of, an ensemble that should never exist anywhere because it's distilled from somebody's imagination, like George Lucas or, The Matrix or all these films. And you go in and you understand the dissemination of tone from a director and the story and all that stuff. And you talk to these costume designers or sound design or whatever. The creativity that bubbles out of that has made me appreciate the art of fashion more than I ever would have as a kid just growing up in Pittsburgh.
Steve, you watch sports, right?
I love sports, Brian. You know that about
do you like to make money when you watch sports, Steve? You like to put your money where your mouth is? You one of those opinionated guys who's not willing to put his money down?
Are you insinuating I'm a professional athlete?
I'm saying if you got a point of view and you got a team that you stand behind,
in my opinion, I want to bet on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In my opinion, you're not a fan of a team unless you're willing to put your money down where it belongs. That's what I say.
That's right. That's right.
A couple things. I don't know if you've ever heard of March Madness. You an American?
I am an American.
I'm not even a basketball fan. One of the most exciting, and I've had friends say the most exciting sporting event of all time in some ways is March Madness. You got college kids, always unpredictable. Anything can happen in that whole thing. What is it, 63 games or something like that? My bookie has got you covered. You want to make money? With this nonstop action, you go to MyBookie, okay? You can select the winners from the 63 tournament games in MyBookie. You can get the bracket contest for a chance to win is it $1,000? Now, times that by 10. It's $10,000 in cash prizes, and it's only...
How much?
$1 to fucking enter.
Come on, what?
$1 to enter. So if you want to win $10,000 in cash prizes, I'm going to put $1 down. And it doesn't matter whether you're filling out multiple brackets, betting the national championship winner, or simply looking for player and game props. MyBookie, they got you covered.
And it's not just March Madness.
No,
it's
NBA.
NBA.
Thank you.
NHL.
Thank you.
My specialty. So I'm going all in on the Pens come playoff time, and you know that I'm going to put money down on my alma mater. Kent State Golden Flashes, who made it to the Sweet 16 a few years ago.
Damn.
Haven't gotten back since, but you're
putting your money where your mouth is.
Let's get those slippers out, Cinderella.
Cost you $1. Sign up today at mybookie.ag. mybookie.ag.
We got a promo code,
use
Brian.
promo code Big and Hungry. That's Big A-N-D Hungry. You got me? Not the and sign, but Big and A-N-D Hungry. And secure a deposit bonus of up to $1,000. So that's promo code Big and Hungry to claim your first deposit bonus. You're welcome for the deposit bonus. College ball, NBA, NHL, no matter the sport, no matter the minute, from tip off to buzzer, MyBookie puts the action in your hands with in-game live betting. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie. Yeah, because, one of the things they always talk about with philosophy or even religion is that you as a human being have a limited apparatus to perceive truth. Mm-hmm. You just, you can see and you can smell and you can taste and you can touch, but those are limited senses. It doesn't mean that you're actually seeing reality for what it actually is, right? Right. So they always say that be careful of thinking you know the truth because of your limited perception. You basically have a flashlight in a very big dark room called reality. So beware of thinking you have all the answers. Be always, whether you're a philosopher, whether you're a scientist, always be ready to change everything you know and accept the fact that you might be utterly wrong completely and totally. Okay.
Yeah.
First rule in philosophy, first rule in science, whatever. And be responsive to evidence that will change your mind. We need more of that, right?
Completely.
However, just as a human being walking around, there are people that see shit I would never see. People who understand fashion, scientists, geologists, ornithologists, whatever they might be. People who pick up on shit that I don't pick up on because I'm only able with my limited bandwidth to see the shit that's in front of me that is reflected upon what my cognitive precondition is for things. Like I already have sort of a built-in natural interest and enthusiasm for stuff. And I'm only going to see that. I'm not going to really see the shit that other people see because they're interested in other things. When my girlfriend walks in a room, she's seeing a whole bunch of, she's a designer. So in a room, she's seeing whether that window works. She's noticing the drapes. I don't notice any of that shit.
Yeah.
And so that's why you fucks in a society that works, you have to protect people that think differently. That's why I always say, I've said this 1,000 times, you have to, the reason you protect marginalized people, that means you protect gay people, you protect trans people, you protect whoever they are.
Right.
The people that traditionally have been put to the side and you know, kind of like either jailed, killed, beat up, bullied, excluded because they were different. The problem with doing that, and people like in some countries today should know this, the problem with doing that is that when you do that to those people, you're fucking yourself because those people a lot of times are the outside looking in and they come up with amazing ideas.
Right.
Your fashionistas might be very flamboyant. Maybe they're very gay. Maybe they're trans. Thank God, because those are the people that create a colorful world. And those are the people that make your culture, ready for it, interesting.
Yeah.
And let me extrapolate, not just interesting, they make your culture fucking stronger because they're creative. They're fucking creative. They think differently. They are different. They love differently. They talk differently. They see the world differently. And that's why you have an entire industry called fashion. It's why you have things like the iPhone. It's why you have all that stuff. And if you want the best weapons, actually, it's the same thing. You've got to have creative mindset. You've got to have that. You've got to allow for your population to be able to give its own rulers the finger, be irreverent to authority, be able to speak their fucking mind, which is why I really worry, and anybody on the left should know this, I really worry about censorship from big tech. When you censor anyone's voice, I understand censoring dangerous calls to, overthrow the government and stuff, but I'm saying when you censor things you don't agree with, oh my God, you better be careful. Because that can be turned back on you. That's what happens. You get groupthink and we no longer are creative. You need pushback.
It's why it's dangerous times for, I tweeted something the other day and I get shit from some comedians and I go, guys, you should be for the freedom of speech. You should be against censorship because if they're corralling that, what do you think a comedy club is going to be in 10 to 15 years, maybe 5 years? We're not going to be able to say these things.
We've already lost humor, dude. We've already lost humor. We've already lost it
on the
in
show?
the workplace. Yeah, on the show.
I thought you meant on this episode. Yeah.
Yes.
What were
we've lost it in the workplace.
Yeah.
You've lost any kind of romance, any kind of flirtation, any kind of humor in the workplace. It's all a liability. No one wants to live that way. Not the most politically correct people in the world, whether they know it or not.
No.
You want a safe environment, but you don't want to live that way.
You got Coca-Cola telling its employees to be less white.
That's the craziest thing I've ever heard in my life.
I want Coca-Cola to be more white. I'd like them to put more cocaine back into it.
Oh,
like
Jesus.
Bang!
Yeah, bang! Bang!
But no, I agree with you. Even Governor Cuomo, I think people on the right, they could politically say, okay, well, you've done it to our guys. Now we're going to do it to your guys. From what I've read about the guy, it sounds like flirtation. There's gradations of going to certain places that are worse than others, right? But I think when he's asking a girl, may I kiss you? It's like, is that bad? Because I would think that if you're going to lean in to kiss somebody, I would think that that's kind of a polite thing to do. May I kiss you?
I think they're using this to get him out of there. I think he's a liability to the Democrats right now, and I feel like this is dirty politics. I think politics is being all of a sudden it surfaces now. He was the darling. He made his name off of contradicting Trump. and now like with this whole.
He was the love gov, by
Yeah,
the way.
but,
I mean, what,
but now with the whole
This
old
is a
people,
smokescreen.
The old yeah, it's a smokescreen.
this is smokescreen.
He's a
They're getting him
liability.
out of. They're going to try to railroad him with this and get him out of office
Because
for
they don't
this,
want the
but
Republicans
it
to
was
use it.
the nursing
Yeah.
scandal, nursing home number
that's the
scandal.
real
That's
scandal.
the issue,
Yeah.
and this is the smokescreen.
Yes.
So what they don't want is to give the Republicans the favor of saying it's that.
That's right. That's exactly right.
Yeah.
So this is politics. This is politics as usual.
As usual.
Nasty.
Yeah.
How do you? The problem with all that is who the fuck would want to go into politics? I mean, good luck.
These days, well, unless you're checking off boxes of identity.
Yeah.
And again, I think that it's great that, Capitol Hill is more diverse than ever, but I think that you're seeing these fringe, extremes on each side. That's a little scary because I think the rest of the country is
fringe. The
right here.
fringe should never be controlling the rest of us. The fringe is the fringe because you can put something in before fringe, and it's called lunatic. It's called the lunatic fringe.
Right.
Okay, it's not fringe. It's a lunatic fringe.
Yeah.
Because they're lunatics. Anytime you're on the fringe, for the most part, you're unless. I just defended the fact that you have to allow. I like lunatics. You need to allow lunatics their freedom to speak their mind, but you don't want lunatics actually driving policy.
No.
I mean, that's where it's scary, and you don't want lunatics to be able to destroy people at a whim. So we need that. This is where we're at. It's a very, very scary fucking time.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think on both sides you have people that are saying, you don't need facts when facts should dictate everything. But I think that there is this moral high ground that each side feels that they may have or have not, and that supersedes facts.
Yeah, but human beings have righteous minds. Fucking human beings, all of us have a righteous mind. All of us have an idea of what's right and what's wrong, and we're constantly being that way. It's really interesting, It's like that's what Jonathan Haidt said, right? He said conservative people and liberal people have different moral palettes, and liberals tend to be more concerned with fairness and care. Like, so harm, is it causing harm, and is it unfair? Is it unjust? Is it unequal? And so equality. And then the care principle,
versus
equality,
freedom
and making sure it's not harming anybody is very important to people on the left.
Yeah.
It's the people on the right have those two things. They definitely care about whether something's harmful and whether something's fair.
Yeah.
But they also have three other considerations like sanctity. There's certain like the authority and loyalty. Right. Are you loyal to your country? Are you and when for a conservative, loyalty to country, loyalty to clan, loyalty to family. Clan, is a bad word for it, but
in terms of family,
loyalty, loyalty to where you come from, loyalty to who your ancestors who brought you up. That's really important. And sanctity, that goes with sanctity too, right? So you're like, sanctity would be religion. Like there's certain things that God allows and God doesn't allow.
Sure.
There's certain ways conservatives tend to look at the human being as a flawed creature that needs confines, that needs boundaries.
Right.
And liberals tend to look at boundaries as suffocating. Allow someone to express themselves with no boundaries and they'll find their way. Sure. It's just a different way of looking at things. This is all Jonathan Haidt's work, but it's really an interesting thing to look at because then you have loyalty, you have authority, and you have sanctity. Those kind of all go together, but that's why a battlefield, the uniform, the Oval Office, institutions are very important to conservatives.
Yeah.
Whereas liberals tend to look at like sanctity, and sanctity gets a liberal worried because they go, wait a minute, sanctity? What are you talking about? Are you talking about religion? You're talking about religious stuff that keeps me from making a choice about whether or not I keep a baby in my body or not?
Right.
You understand? So it becomes like they get nervous about sanctity. That's why religion to a lot of liberals is antagonistic. It's almost like the enemy because they're like, hold on, how Christian are you?
It's conformity.
Well, it's also how Christian are you? Because if you're that Christian, you're going to try to pass a law that says I don't have the right to choose. So they get it's just an interesting thing.
Right.
When you talk about authority, you're talking about the patriarchy. You're talking about fathers being the king of the household. Okay, well for me that's called patriarchy, and we've been so these are where the arguments kind of conflict. That's why liberals have a tough time when a politician starts talking about that stuff.
Right. I just want to note that we started off about 20 minutes ago talking about shit.
Yeah.
And if somebody hit their head on the keyboard, they would think, I'm having a fucking stroke. How do we get this is the craziest spectrum of subject matter.
Dude, it's so true. We're
It's
talking
just
about
like,
some dumb. We need Theo in
you're,
here.
You're talking, and it's like, oh, this is really interesting. This is a really educated take. And I was like, we were just like, there were pins and balls, like hairpins and balls, and then there was shit. And now it's like the dichotomy and the pendulum swing between liberalism and conservatism.
That's why when I say, if you listen to the Big and Hungry podcast, you're going to learn everything.
You're going to learn
You know
everything.
what I mean?
You get a little
learn
everything.
nothing
Yeah.
and learn everything.
That's right. Yeah.
Where's Theo? Theo's down. We're in the same house as Theo Vaughn. I want to get him up here and get his take on this stuff. What's that? Holler at him. Let's see what's up. I want to see what he's got to say about this.
And he is kind enough, by the way, to let us record in the studio space.
Uh-huh.
I know I said it looked like a store of an IKEA, but I thought there'd be like a logo here or something
Well,
that
there
he would
ain't.
have. What's that?
Yeah. Well, there ain't.
There ain't.
Hold on.
We'll edit this part out, obviously.
We'll edit what part out?
This whole lull.
Huh?
This whole moment.
Yeah.
On a call, he'll be up in a couple minutes.
I love it.
Do we have an extra mic for him?
Yeah. I hear that Theo Vaughn might just be up here in a little bit. In a little bit. We've been talking for a while, dude.
We have, yeah.
Time flies when you have fun.
Well, the one thing I would like to bring up is that you and I had a nice conversation last night, and I would like to perhaps suggest this is maybe every episode. As I've gotten older, obviously I want to read more, and just especially for my kids, I've always focused on the Wild West. I've read history. I've read things about Wyatt Earp. I'll spend a year just reading everything I can about Wyatt Earp. And I after
of course, I tell you that's not the best place to put your energy, but keep going.
So, in talking though, I've read Hero of a Thousand Faces. I would like to take more of a deep dive into Greek mythology because I understand the foundations of Greek mythology, but I'd like to go through individually and say, just study 3 prominent, pieces of Greek mythology, and then start educating my palate along the way. And maybe throughout the course of this podcast, we could insert, a subject matter. It's like, maybe this might be of interest to everybody else. If you're a guy like me that's been sidetracked by sports and all the other bullshit, it's like there's been a moment in time where I'm like, I just want to learn more. I want.
Well, people ask me a lot of times what to read, and I always have to think about it because what I would say is that learn what books and what thinkers actually spawned an entire new revolution, a new way of thinking about life. There are political thinkers that changed everything. There are scientific thinkers that changed everything. There are artistic thinkers that changed everything. There are novelists and who changed everything. There are historical. There are moral thinkers, moral leaders that changed everything. There are spiritual leaders that changed everything. So once you learn the scientific achievements, the scientific discoveries that spurred like an entire new way of thinking about the world. And then you learn. So that's the way I would always try to frame education. Once you do that, it's not that hard, honestly. You don't have to read that many books because there are books, they're like the books, right? And then everything is kind of like a footnote to that book. Somebody reads a book and writes a book and it's like Civilization and its Discontents or anything by Darwin or Freud and all of a sudden,
But spending your time on like The Last Days of John Lennon, for example, is not a bad thing to do because what I got out of that book is that this is a guy that gave everything to his profession early on in his career. And towards the back half, he took 5 years. He retired from music to solely focus on his son, Sean. And the back half of the book is just being about a great dad and being present and giving up being a Beatle and all that other stuff.
That's pretty cool.
And it made me appreciate and want to hug my kids that much more, knowing that as he said, okay, I'll make the turn now.
Yeah, come in. Now you're hitting on something that's really important, though.
Yeah.
Like so I'm talking global and big, and you're talking about being myopic, and I think there's a lot. I think being myopic like you is just as valuable.
I love biographies. That's my
Well,
go-to.
but
I read
you were
everything I
talking
can.
about how to be a good dad, right?
Yeah,
So
and
you
you
can spend all your
discern
time
certain
trying to
lessons from
learn
those
about
things, yeah.
philosophy in the world, and then you can all of a sudden, but you forget about being a dad, and that's just as important. Theo Vaughn, come on over here, man. Theo Vaughn just came in. He's got his own mic.
By the way, dude,
I
thanks
said-
again for letting us use your space.
No worries, man. I just
Appreciate it,
always
my
wanted
friend.
to be on my own show.
Yeah. Here you are.
So this is
Here we
it.
are in
I'm
Nashville.
surprised. There's no logo though, right?
Nope.
No. He keeps it bare. He keeps it all kinds of generic.
Yeah,
right?
very Russia.
Why is there no logo?
Yeah.
It's the new Russia thing. Remember, it used to be USSR. Now it's kind of
Have you been to other countries, Theo?
We don't know what it
it's hit or miss, man.
Yep.
Yeah, where have I been, man? I mean, I've done a lot. The past 2 or 3 years, I try to do one virtual tour a month of like Spain. Where else?
You do a virtual tour.
What do you mean?
Nicaragua.
Wait,
Yeah, I'll do the whole. You know, they have that. You can get a really good. You don't get a feel for the people, you know, but a lot of places it's impoverished. You know, and I
So
got
it's better
into
to
a.
be sitting on your couch, looking at that.
So you like eating Taco Bell while you're watching a virtual?
I'll
thing
have,
in Spain?
you know, I'll have something. I might have a fucking, you know, put a piece of lime in my mouth and do something, do a Belize or do a,
Yeah.
you
do
know,
that
just.
with, you do that with porn?
No, I'm trying to stay off of porn, man. But
Were you a porn guy for a while?
yeah, for a
Right.
while
I mean,
yesterday.
Yes.
Who wouldn't be?
Is there a specific kind of porn that you get down with?
I mean, the dark arts, man. I mean, some of it gets a little wild. I think
Yeah.
You mean some like?
some of it's sad.
Deep
You
cut
know, it's
shit?
just no, nothing.
Okay.
I never been into like animalia or nothing like that or anything
What is that?
outdoors.
Animal stuff.
yeah,
Animalian.
anything. Yeah, I don't do anything.
Mammalian.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not crossing.
Yeah, species.
Yeah, I'm not cross. I don't do any cross species stuff. I do mostly. I do like a little bit of black on white, honestly, but I'll do
Sure. Black man on white woman or white man on
I'll do black man on white woman probably
There
sometimes.
you go.
But not as much as I was before BLM, honestly.
Is that right?
I know it's crazy, but and also I try not to watch it. You know, I have blockers on my phone.
Oh, because
and
you
on
had a
my
little
computer.
bit of an addiction to it.
Yeah, I think I just, you know, I mean, I don't want to monopolize all the time.
No,
You
no,
can
no.
answer.
We are loving this shit. You just
No, I'm
sat
happy.
down.
I'm happy to be here, man. I appreciate you guys having me, and yeah, just dude, I remember the first time I ever saw pornography. I was a child, you know.
Yeah.
And that's a shitty mix, really, in hindsight. But at the time, I had to climb up this shelving unit, and I was in my brother's closet, and in our
VHS, you mean, or magazines?
it was magazines.
Yeah.
You know, the first time I saw it was drawings, and we had this fella draw you a little cooter or something for the weekend.
Little
This
cooter.
boy Nick,
Yeah.
little $3 deal. You hit him on Thursday, and you get that sketch.
Get that sketch. Yeah.
You know?
You get
So
a
you
cooter.
pay him $3 and then he'd draw you like a vagine.
Oh, he would draw it, man, and he was fucking good. And R.I.P. man, Nick died
So his artwork is worth way more now.
13 years ago.
than ever before, right?
I mean, if
please.
you still have it,
Well, yeah, of course. It was $3 street value back in the day.
It's true.
that's true. I don't know what it would be worth, and that was probably 91.
He's a young man when he died.
Yeah. So anyway, he died in a fire, in a car fire. He was in a car, and also it was on fire.
Well, that's not a good place. That's a terrible thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't do it. I mean, he died.
No.
I didn't do it.
I mean, I'm just saying, like, you know what I'm
I
saying?
understand.
No offense, man.
No, of
R.I.P.
course.
Nick. And
Of
How
course.
crazy would it be if Theo was like, and I lit the fire. Car
Yeah, I was
fire.
gonna say.
Yeah, I did it.
There, he was we were smoking crack, and yeah, that'd be a tough way to go.
But I think the
There are
first
other
time I
ways I'd
saw
rather-
porn was like most kids that grew up in the burbs in Pittsburgh or Jersey was like, we'd get on your bike and you heard about this patch in the woods. There'd be crushed beer cans. There was always like a stack of mags. It was all musty from the rain and shit. And that was like the first time I saw porn. Like Stand By Me was like, you want to see a dead body? For us, it was like, you want to see naked pics? It was like, all right, yeah, let's go. And then you go out and see this party area. I don't know whoever threw that party, but it was always mags.
Always mags.
it is wild to think who threw that party, huh?
Yeah.
Because they always said it was devil people or it was gays, you know, or it was,
Devil people.
you know, people that were doing illegal, you know, farming or something, growing or you know what I'm saying?
Like, marijuana.
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
marijuana or something,
Yeah.
or fucking
Raising a crop of meth or something.
Japanese apples, or you know what I'm saying, doing something they shouldn't have been doing.
Well, Japanese apples go for a lot on the black market because they're so you can't stop eating them.
Yeah, mispurposed land use. You know what I'm saying? Illegal,
Yeah.
deviant land use.
That's right.
Yeah.
Deviant land use. I understand.
So that was back then. They would say that. Oh, they've been doing. People like they've been doing devil around here. They've been doing Satan. They've been.
You see
the
candles
gays.
and like where a human was sacrificed, shit like that.
Yeah, you would see like little, just clues, bad clues, and you were a bad detective. Every fucking 9 or 11-year-old thinks they're Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah, you found some shit.
Yeah.
Like they've been sacrificing humans here because you find like a doll's head, a candle. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And a human body, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, but you look past the human body. You look at the
past-
clues.
You don't see that. You look at the clues. Something bad happened here. I don't know. Something bad happened here.
Yeah, I wish they'd get this fucking asshole out of here so we could look at some of these clues.
My
But
buddy-
you grew up like where there's voodoo.
Yeah, they had a lot of like by us. You would see a lot of stuff where they would have somebody would do something with a cow carcass or a not a wolf, but like a maybe Doberman. Like somebody would do an animal carcass and cut it up and take
Yeah.
out the every now and then they'd have that.
Dog heart goes well in a witch's brew. You wouldn't know that. My friend said he was a special ops guy, and they were in like somewhere in Latin America, and they saw a body that was half. It was like half a body, and you could just see the spine.
Oh,
and then the rest, and my friend tells me the story. He goes, "This is his joke." He goes, my buddy looks at me. He goes, "I hate to see who he pissed off," and we laughed. I was like, "Oh, that's not that funny. I'm a comedian."
Yeah.
When I saw half a body with the spine showing, I'd be like, "Well, there's not a lot of jokes you can make there."
no.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it'd be funny if Theo was like, "I wonder if this guy was sacrificed." That's a
Well, I
clue.
think a lot of time people would say sacrifice first if something happened. You
Yeah.
didn't know what happened. And they'd say, oh, sacrifice.
Yeah.
And other people probably didn't want to think and they would just agree with them.
Yeah. Well, human beings have always been sacrificed to one god or another.
You ever see Apocalypto?
Is that
Yes. Oh yeah.
God damn. That movie, you see Apocalypto?
true? I've seen some of it.
God damn,
Hell
that
of a
movie is a
actually a great movie.
trip. I think that's Mel Gibson's best film.
I do too. It's astonishing.
It's unbelievable.
It's actually astonishing. I just rewatched it. Fuck.
Yeah.
Wait, you think you'll always do stand up?
I don't know. I wonder sometimes what the future of it's going to be like. Will you just do a hologram eventually? Will they hologram you? Will they always have it? Will you be
Yeah.
allowed to just go and say things to people still legally in a few years?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. I think it'll always be an art form people will love though, because it's live.
Yeah.
It's like live music, right?
Yeah.
There's something about being in a room with people that you can't really. You can watch great movies on a huge screen and in your house.
Yeah.
But when you're in a club with a lot of people, the thing about comedy is it brings you all together. Like for that moment, for that 1 hour, no matter who you are in that room, you're all unified because you're all
Yeah,
laughing.
the room's communal.
Yeah, it's
I
a beautiful
think
thing.
stand-up is like when you watch the 4th of July fireworks from the Statue of Liberty on TV, but then you're there, that's the difference. Like fireworks are not that. It's like the scope, the breath.
Yeah,
you
you're
can
sharing.
smell the sulfur and the boom and the echo and the reverb and the orchestra. It's like being there is completely
Well,
different.
think about movies when you were younger. Like movies
Like
had
which
their
ones
power
you
because
mean?
people would laugh,
Oh,
or
all
they'd
movies?
or they'd be scared. Remember in The Sixth Sense,
Yeah.
and when he turns and you see the back of his head is all fucking blown away, and everybody in the movie theater goes,
yeah.
we're all there's shit like that kind of you share a collective experience, and somehow it's way more powerful. And comedy's that way.
Yeah.
Like, when I watched you, or I was watching you one time, me and Shab, and I was when the audience was laughing so hard. And I remember I texted you after that. I told you were great. You remember? I don't know if you remember. It was in Arizona, and you were fucking killing the room. I mean, and me and Shab were watching you, and I've been doing stand up a long fucking time. And when you see somebody that kind of like really excites you, and I'm watching it, but the audience, what was I'd heard you do it before, but the audience, it was a magic trick. So they were just like. They'd never seen what you were doing.
Yeah.
They were just
Oh,
going
that's fun.
like Arkansas Ivory and all that shit you were doing, and they were just like, "What the fuck is it's so?" And when you watch people become that astonished,
Yeah.
you can't get that unless you're with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's a reiteration of how special it is, whatever the experience is that's going up on stage. When an audience acts like that, what they're doing is they're going, I've never seen this before. What they're doing is they're going, it's new, it's not familiar to them. In their whole life, they've actually never seen whatever the fuck this weird guy talking about Arkansas ivory. He's talking about hamster bones. My ex-father-in-law called me and goes, that guy Theo Vaughn was talking about Arkansas ivory and hamster bones, and I was laughing. He was driving. He was astonished. And when you see shit like that, it's just like, it's like, or that shit you used to do, that kung fu shit, that Bruce Lee shit you do in front of 1,500 people at Beechers. They'd never seen it.
Right.
They'd just be like, what the fuck is good? You know, and you'd hear the rolling of, and they just get into a crescendo.
Yeah.
Now, neither one of you guys are ever going to get the fucking reaction I get, but that's different.
But we're also not performing at the zoo.
That's true. That is true. In front of the primates. Yeah.
Never. We probably won't get two monkeys to mate to our act.
My girlfriend in Chicago, in college, she snuck her sheepdog into the zoo, into the DC zoo, and she brought that motherfucker into the primates, into the fucking, I think it was the chimp thing or whatever, and they went, "Wah!" And they started to freak out on that fucking dog, and they were throwing their shit and trying to get at it.
Yeah.
Her dog took a shit and a piss right there, like shat, like, was running in a circle trying to get the fuck out, and ran out. She ran out and banged her head, or his head, his name was Jeffrey, the dog's name was Jeffrey, banged his head against the fucking, the door and like fell back. And I wasn't there, but she told me the story. But holy fucking shit.
And how old was the dog, you think?
It was like a 3-year-old, beautiful, sweet
wow, that's a
sheepdog.
young
And
animal.
the sheepdog was like, the fuck are these crazy looking hairy humans coming at me for? Ah! They were like, get that fucking dog out of
Imagine
here.
being a dog and you're just in your neighborhood,
Chimps,
you piss, and then you
primates
see a
hate
fucking
dogs.
chimp. It's
Yeah.
like, what the fuck is
Yeah.
that?
Welcome to the NFL.
Yeah.
You know? This ain't frickin' Virginia Commonwealth anymore, baby. This ain't VCU, dude.
No, this ain't the little leagues. This is you're in the
This
pros.
ain't Valparaiso, dog. We're fucking playing ball today.
Playing ball, motherfucker. You're
I
with
think that's when you separate the fucking, the
Men from
the
the
boys
boys.
from the the
Men
boys
from the
from the
boys.
men, dude. And really, you need to separate the boys from the men. Or either way, you got to get these fucking people away from each other. Some animals, they used to have them and they would use them for their hair, even households.
Yeah.
And there's an article about in the Great Depression where people would I don't want to say sacrifice, but they would discontinue their own animal, their own pet, and use its parts because they needed it.
Oh yeah, they discontinue it. That's it. That's an euphemism for they would kill it. Yeah, you know how they kill cows a lot of times.
I do.
How do they do it?
They hit them with a hammer.
Yeah, sort of. It's a .22 cartridge, right? That comes.
Yeah,
right,
like a
hits them right in the
small
back of
little
the
bitty
head.
hammer that's shaped like a bullet.
Yeah, that's right. There you go. Boom, right? So they don't shoot the bullet into the brain. It just goes. It just hits it real hard, and it comes out or something like that.
Mm.
Yeah,
It's like No Country for Old Men. That kind of.
real quick, like Donnie Brasco. When he shoots him right here, I think behind the ear, and he just dies right there.
How do you guys want to go, man? I know everybody's thinking about it.
That's a
And
good
you
question.
first, man, since no judgment, but
Well,
you're gonna fucking
I always. well, I have this dilemma.
leave us any clues you can.
Yeah. Hey, man.
Yeah, we'll have a Ouija
Hey,
board
that's- you're
out.
being an
and when you
ageist,
go,
man.
please communicate to us and let us know that the afterlife is real.
You're being an ageist.
Look,
Yeah.
die like this or like this. You know what I'm saying?
A duh.
Do that last. Do not do just this though. You'll do this. I know you
Yeah,
will.
will.
asshole.
don't leave a mystery.
I will.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna.
Give
I'm
us
gonna be.
a-
It'll be a mystery. I'll be like, come see, come ça. I'll do this. I'll die like this. I'm like, "Hey, what's that mean, motherfuckers? You know what I mean? It was up and down. My thing is, like, I always think about. I think it was 1967, the year I was born, maybe a year earlier, when that Buddhist monk, in protesting the Vietnam War in Vietnam, lit himself on fire. And when he lit himself on fire, he did not move a muscle, and then you could hear the air expire from his lungs, and he fell over and died.
Really?
And yes.
He didn't
so he
move at
went,
all?
Nah, he went into a deep state of meditation, and with that kind of Buddhism, the flesh is an illusion anyway.
Right.
And so he was witness. You witness your own death.
Oh my God.
And if you think that meditation isn't powerful, you watch that motherfucker. Watch those. Look up those pictures.
Look up
And what is it on
videos of
HBO
people
Max?
on fire.
Hey,
When
do you have that? Bring that up.
Is that on HBO
Watch-
Max?
Well, there are I think video of it. We'll out of respect we'll watch we'll look
But
at just
find
the
videos
picture.
of people on fire, because when you're on
What?
fire,
So-
have you ever
so-
seen that? People, that's the highest.
Yeah,
That's the
so
high
he lit
pitch that
himself. They would
people-
light themselves on fire. They wouldn't move a muscle, and then the rest of the Buddhists would bow to this Rinpoche, to this man who had this contemplative athlete.
And where was this, in New York?
Who had achieved enlightenment. This was in Vietnam.
Oh my
in
God.
protesting of the Vietnam War and protesting, and did it in front of the American embassy. Thinking about how powerful that is. And instead of killing them, instead of being a terrorist, they said, I will now light myself on fire in protest because you are killing sentient beings of all types. And that's some powerful shit. So when I see that, I go to myself, now here it is, Thich Quang
I just want to see the video of the
Vietnamese.
burning.
It was a Vietnamese monk who burned himself to death at a busy Saigon road. Let me read that.
Oh, Jesus.
Look at this. And he didn't move. He didn't move. And look at all the Buddhists watching him. Look, he lit himself on fire, and then he just stood there and didn't move. You tell me that's not powerful as fuck.
What sucks is somebody broke down right next to him.
Oh.
I think, and
Is this in Cuba?
No, this is in Saigon. This is in Vietnam, South Vietnam.
I got to do a virtual of this, man. This shit looks
Yeah.
insane, huh?
And that to me is one of the most powerful images, and one of
oh
the
Jesus! I mean, look right. You could see he's just.
and then he falls over, and that was it.
damn.
But what a statement! What an incredible human being!
What power? And I wonder how
Oh
much
my
you
God.
practice this, because I don't think you go from
No.
nothing to.
That's a lifetime of. That's a master right there. That's the ultimate black belt. That's a master. Like that motherfucker. And by the way, I just would remind people, it's 2021, and we're all sitting here astonished by that. You never lose that. You never stop looking at that.
That's a Machado right
And
there.
that was in protest. That was a peaceful protest.
I will
that was
say-
to say war is wrong.
I've been in Miami and I've got sunburnt, and you can't move when you're like, I can't move.
Steve, I
It
feel like
hurts. It
Steve, I
hurts.
feel like you're appropriating.
Just say the N word if you're going to say stuff like that, Steve. I think. Because
That's
this is-
1963.
Yeah.
That's when protests. Remember that in '63, black people in a lot of the states in this union couldn't vote and didn't have equal rights. So it was a time. It was a time that was on. Everything was on fire. Everything was on fire. And his countryside, which had been Vietnam, had been a French colony, and they had finally kind of kicked the French out. Vietnam's never been conquered, really. Vietnam's always fought for their
Good
independence.
for them, man.
Look at this now. I think he was doused by I think the monk doused him. Look at him. He knows he's going to go.
And what about his wife, though?
He didn't. I don't believe he had a wife. I believe they take a
If
vow
you're,
of celibacy.
yeah, they're vow celibacy.
They
with
renounce.
monks,
They
right?
renounce power, money, sex, all
Thick
that stuff.
Quang. This
Status.
boy's fellow named Thick Quang Duck, dude. I'm sure Brennan probably fucking will steal his
Quang
whole
Duc.
name
Yeah.
to make a
I mean, what a bad
leotard or
motherfucker.
whatever.
But this has been done more than once.
You know, there's something special about getting that zenned in, where you say, "Look, man, I know I'm going back into the frickin' cauldron."
Yes.
You know.
Well,
And
if you
I'm
can
just
do
gonna
that,
make
you
a
can
real
do
point.
anything, right? Nothing
Right.
can touch you.
See, that spirit has to live on. But if you're some dude, who just kind of dies of like diabetes, dude, I don't think you guys go to the same heaven. You go to more like a Hampton Inn.
I would agree with you. I would agree with
like
you.
this guy goes to the big,
Yeah.
the big cage,
Well,
the big bird cage.
it's
in the
proof of what
universe.
human beings can do. It's proof that to me, when I see that, and when the Buddhists talk about the self being an illusion and your ability to lose all ego, and even the notion that you are a self,
Right.
that we spend so much time protecting what we call ourself, right? Like we work really hard, so we have money, we have certainty, we have a roof over our head, we have status, people that depend on us.
all a
The
trick.
idea behind Buddhism is to lose all of that,
Right.
Or not even to lose your attachment, but still be compassionate. It's not just about losing your attachment and meditating on it. You still have to care deeply enough to light yourself on fire.
Right.
You got to care deeply enough about people and all sentient beings. You lose your own sense of self, but at the same time have enough compassion, have so much compassion that you're willing to burn yourself in protest. The worst, most painful death. And he said, I'm going to do this for all people. It's fucking, come on, man.
Look, we already agreed. Why does he keep doing
Why
this?
are we not meditating is the question. Why is this podcast not total silence?
I
And you just hear us breathing.
I'd have been fine with that, man. Would you go gas or kerosene, though? Is what
That's
I
a
wanted to
good
know.
question. Whatever burns fastest.
I think gasoline does. Do you mind bringing that up for us?
Whether gasoline or kerosene. Let's take a guess. I'm gonna say kerosene burns much slower than gas. Yeah. Kerosene's what they use in jet fuel, I think.
Yeah, kerosene bears. Have you ever seen that cartoon?
No, let me see if I'm right. Diesel burns faster. They define it burns faster. If both
This
were
is also on
atomized with
Quora.
the optimal fuel air mixture.
This could have been an octopus.
winner
Could
would
have
be a
submitted that answer.
gasoline.
Can you go to a decent spot by chance? Sorry. There you
Hey
go,
Sean.
Stanford.
Hey Sean, man, come on.
Yeah, why are you on Ask Jeeves?
Sean's just on a Word document that he wrote earlier.
He's typing in the definition as we speak.
Volatile material, low temperature need to evaporate enough fluid to form a combustible concentration gas. Gasoline has a flash point of negative 45 and an ignition temperature of 536 Fahrenheit.
I got no idea. I don't know anything about
Kerosene holds a flash point of 100 and auto ignition temperature of 428. So kerosene will light at a lower level, at a lower temperature.
Oh, okay. It burns not as hot.
Yeah.
Jet fuel will burn hot.
I have never
Actually, I shouldn't have
wanted
said
to
yeah, I don't know.
protest anything. Have you ever been part of a
I
march?
have,
or,
brother.
Yeah.
I was against steroids, and I was against.
He marched against steroids.
MLB?
Dude, I'll tell you. It was. I don't remember what it was. Somewhere. Oh, I was going to university. Right. This is when
Yeah.
I was going to university, and they had the soccer coach. I had some friends that was female athletes,
Right.
and they played soccer.
Oh, Title IX?
Yeah, they were Title IXers,
Yeah.
dude. Or nine. We call
What's Title IX?
Title IX is there's got to be an equilibrium on college campuses between athletics for
Men
males
and
and
women.
females.
Yeah. Everybody can do it.
Yeah.
So creatine was new, and the soccer coach was having the female players take it, and some of them were kind of alarmed. You know, they didn't know what was going to go on. Am I gonna,
Reproductive issues
yeah,
and all that
anything?
stuff.
Who
Yeah.
knows?
It's actually
You know what I'm
really
saying?
good,
Am I
really
gonna?
good for you. Good supplement.
Yeah. So they so we protested against him, against the coach.
Oh, okay.
And we even had a not mentally handicapped, physically handicapped guy come out at there was the news came out. We're outside protesting, and at the last minute you heard this little fella goes. He came on that speaker because he had that van speaker, because he had the ramp. He was ramped out.
Sure.
Chad was his name.
Chad.
Yeah, hot. Everybody called him Hot Wheels though,
Yeah.
but he was physically challenged or whatever.
Sure.
Wheeled out.
Disabled.
And disabled, yeah. And he was he's like, we got reinforcements. That's the last thing you heard was his van as it pulled in and parked.
Really?
And he drowned in Hurricane Katrina, man.
Oh, Jesus
That's a
Christ,
terrible
Yeah.
man.
story. He
But
did.
this was before he drowned. This was protesting.
What a fucking disaster. He
And
drowned.
Wheels
yeah,
up.
he drowned.
Here,
man.
there's a book called. I always think about
He got
weird
stuck
ways
in the
to
mud.
die. Like that'd be a shitty way to die. I hate that idea,
Me too.
and I hate that there's a book called Infinite Jest by David Foster Wallace.
Yeah.
Phenomenal book, and
Yeah,
this
we
guy.
believe
It's a hard book.
Next.
To read. And the guy, one of the characters in it, though, he gets robbed.
Is seventh period almost over?
And this
When do we
character-
get to go to recess?
This character gets robbed, and he's got a terrible cold. He can't breathe out of his nose, and they rob him and they gag him, and he's going, "You can't gag me, I can't breathe," and they gag him, and it's cold, and he dies. They
Really?
didn't mean to kill him, but he couldn't breathe. Damn, that would suck.
I think I'll tell you a sad story. So they had
Here, you've told us two sad stories already.
yeah, sorry man.
The
Love it.
artist,
I love it.
Hot Wheels.
Yeah,
Chad was his real name.
Yeah, poor
Chad
Chad.
died, and Nick.
And what happened to him?
R.I.P. Nick died in
yeah.
a car fire. One guy died in a car fire.
That's crazy. We even said
Yep.
that fire before we were talking about the Chinese fire.
And he was Vietnamese, and he wasn't even a monk,
yeah.
or maybe he was.
No, he wasn't.
Probably not.
I don't know what he was. His dad did HVAC. But I do know this, man, that so the thing that happened was this. What were you guys talking about? The story was?
The story was death. So you told two death stories.
Oh, yeah, I got one more.
Oh, okay.
So this man, Was it about freezing? What were we talking about? Oh, here's what happened. So they had a football player that played for LSU University. This was University. And they had a man, and I'm not going to say a black man, but darker than, as dark as you could get on Earth.
Yeah.
And he was in a mobilized, they kept doing fundraiser at the football games to raise money for this man, right? And fucking pay attention, you creep.
I've never heard that in my life. That was fucking hilarious.
As dark
I
as
don't
you
want
can
to be
get on,
offensive,
as
man.
dark as you can get on Earth.
As far
I'm
as
not
we
going to
know,
say he's black. But he's
He's a
just
dark man, as dark as you can get on Earth.
as far as
The
we
point
know,
is, he's not.
Planet Earth.
He's just saying that the man he was darker than most.
we don't know how dark it can get elsewhere.
That's right.
Is that true?
I would imagine too. Yeah, I would
Thank you.
imagine that there's degrees of everything.
Thank you.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
deep space.
Huh?
Yeah.
I
yeah.
mean, I've never seen it, but it could happen. You know? But I'll say this, though. But so what happened was, so they're raising money all year. This was an injured athlete.
Yeah.
They're raising money all year. They finally get him a dog. He got paraplegia. They finally get him a dog and a motorized wheelchair, right? They're he needed a system that he could breathe and everything. He was not well.
And he
you
was
know?
a former player. Is that-
former
okay.
player. He needed a system, the oxygen
He'd
and
broken
everything.
his neck or something.
Yeah.
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 So they get him that. They get him a dog to keep him companion, right?
Yeah.
They hook him up. The dog pulls the cord out of the wall and he dies.
Damn it.
Ah,
Damn it.
They've been fundraising all year to
And the
get this
dog-
man this stuff.
And the dog was not trained well enough.
And the
Decided to chew on
dog-
the goddamn hose.
Yeah, the dog worked for the insurance company. I don't know what the hell was going on. But
Something happened.
there was all kind of,
Are
just,
you
guesses.
suggesting that the insurance company was like, this is going to cost a lot of money. Let's throw in the wrong dog. You know what I mean?
Would you put it past an insurance company?
I wouldn't.
I wouldn't.
And
No,
I want to
fuck no.
appreciate you thinking that. You'd be a good detective because you'd come in and go, now
What's
what
really
kind of chew toys has this dog been weaned on?
Yeah, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, real thin rope, huh?
You've come up with you've come up with 3 terrible ways to die,
Yeah.
and you know all these people. I mean,
Yeah.
it must be.
It's hard staying alive, man, when everybody else doesn't.
No, that's true. That's
It is
true.
kind of crazy as you get older, man. People die, and you're just like, damn, man.
He's right here. Come on, man.
My bad.
Hey, it is true, right? There's nothing you can do about death.
What? Oh, are you?
It's sad, man.
Would you go to a home, or you want to ride it out in like a house?
I'm riding it out in the house, motherfucker, and I don't want to hear about a home.
I'm just so we're prepared. Like when
Right, look,
it
man.
comes, like
I'm the kind of guy that I feel like the men in my family live a long time,
Oh, God.
Yeah.
like 96, 97. You know what I'm saying? So I might outlive you guys because
yeah, I
I'm
don't know
like
about that,
I
buddy.
keep it tight. I
Yeah.
keep it tight.
That's true.
I keep busy. I keep busy.
It's
Yeah.
coiled.
And yep, and God loves me. You know what I mean? So yeah, and
2
I
out
got
of 3 ain't bad,
yep,
brother.
and I got a whole lot of comedy in me that I got to get out.
Now, that could be true.
You
And we
understand?
need that.
You know what I mean? Now, question is, are you going to get bored of life? Because
No.
I don't know, man. Like I know a
He's
guy,
taking a virtual tour when he can. You're going to probably get on a plane and go to one of these places when you really can, right? I would assume if you're
Eventually, yeah.
kicking the tires on it virtually.
Well, William F. Buckley said, I'm tired of life. He had this incredible life, and he was like, you get tired of life. Like I want to stay around for my family, I guess, but other than that, I don't.
Dude, you
feel
know
like
what's
doing
sad?
this anymore.
I saw Don Rickles. This is why I wear a suit on stage too, because I saw Rickles and he was in a tuxedo and he fucking looks sharp. And I was like, oh my god, it's timeless. He'll be timeless forever, right? But I saw him in Vegas. It was towards the end.
Las
and-
Vegas?
Was that?
Las Vegas?
Yes. Sorry.
Las Vegas. Yeah.
Las Vegas. So I saw him there, and he was telling all these great stories, but all his friends were dead. He had a Sinatra story, he had a Dean Martin story, he had all these great stories, and then towards the end of it, he was saying how all my friends are dead, and I'm still here, I'm still performing, and just like kind of put all perspective, and I just felt bad for the guy. I guess there is that thing where you kind of want to maybe leave the party a little earlier than be the last one there.
My grandfather, his best friend died,
Yeah.
and I said, "What's your best friend's name, Grandpa?" And he went, "Charlie Beshar." He whispered it to me. He was too distraught to say his name out loud, so he went, "Charlie Beshar."
Yeah.
He just went, "Charlie Beshar." He's a Sicilian macho guy.
Yeah.
But the pain was too much. I remember I was like, I was probably 19.
Yeah.
And I was like, I could tell that he couldn't say his name out loud or he'd cry because he knew him his whole life.
Well, it was such a I mean, I think now with people trying DMT and stuff, there's more of a comfort in the mind of DMT users that they will go into a different
Dimension.
realm or dimension as this one closes, you know?
That's kind of what's cool about psychedelics. I want to go down the rabbit hole for real.
You haven't been down there?
No, I'm interested in doing it, like for real. I want to go down. I've gone down the mushroom rabbit hole, but I want to try acid. I've done DMT, and I would do it again. Like I do it more than once again because I love it. But there's something about psychedelics that are very different than stimulants, opiates, and things like that. Psychedelics can be productive. That shit
Really?
is that plant medicine. Absolutely.
I know the Beatles were on them big time, and
And look what they did. The White Album.
That's what they were talking about. I've never done anything past pot.
Well, they've done, like they say that when cocaine and heroin came into the music scene, it killed the music. It was the day the music died. Wow. The Haight-Ashbury Festival was like the renaissance of, you had the Mamas and the Papas or Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young. You had the greatest music that was coming out of a time when, and this is not, I'm not a music historian, obviously, but this was the point of this thing was that when psychedelics and marijuana were ruling the day, some of the best music of all time, from Hendrix to Pink Floyd to, I mean, you name it. I mean, this and the White Album, and then when heroin and cocaine came into the mix, then Lou Reed went into a stupor and never came out of it.
Right.
Then all these really talented musicians who subscribed to see a lot of these white musicians came from middle class backgrounds in England and in the United States, and they were copying the black heroes like Muddy Waters, like Charlie Parker, like John Coltrane, like all these. Even Billie Holiday, like the great blues black musicians.
Yeah, it's Stones,
and Charles
Zeppelin,
Stanley Crouch said the difference is that the black musicians back then were living at a time when they had to go around the back way and perform for white audiences, and they were second-class citizens across the fucking board, right? They were, there's that famous story of, I think it was Miles Davis. He got the shit beat out of him. He was just standing having a cigarette while recording, and the white cop said, "Move on, boy." And he said, "I'm just here. What do you mean move on? I'm recording right here." And he gave the cop lips, and the cop beat his ass right there on the street with his baton and put him in the hospital. Nobody said shit because he was black and he couldn't. And Miles Davis changed from that point on. His music, everything changed from that point on. But when you grow up like that and you're a second-class citizen, you're making money, it's called survival guilt. Yeah. And you're gonna get into heroin. But the thing is that the white musicians like Jim Morrison and Janis Joplin and Hendrix is not such a good example because he's black, but they all were copying their heroes. Right. And what they were doing is subscribing to a lifestyle, not trying to overcome a lifestyle. There's a difference. Right, yeah. You understand? There's a difference. When you're trying to overcome oppression, you're a warrior. Oh, yeah. Hold on. We got to go then. We'll wrap this up.
I got to go to an email, actually.
All right, we're going to wrap this up. Anyway.
It's my new excuse.
Yeah.
I got to go do an email, man. Yeah. I like that.
Let's rock and roll. But when you're trying to overcome some shit versus when you're subscribing to shit.
Right.
Well.
And that's the difference. Theo Vaughn, always making things better.
Well, look, I'm glad to be in here with you guys. I'm glad to be a guest here.
In your own studio.
It's reverse guestology.
That's right. It's reverse guestology. This has been the big and hungry podcast, y'all. And
stay big, man. Stay hungry.
Big. You on the road at all?
Nope.
No.
I don't think so, man.
No, you're not doing any dates?
No, I got burnt out, man. Like a year ago, I needed a break. Yeah. I still need a break some. I think like almost sometimes feel like part of my brain separated from like my stem a little bit. I was scorched.
Just from the redundancy of it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think I'm just kind of festering a little.
I get it.
This is a positive festering. But I went to jiu-jitsu this morning, going to the gym today at 4:30.
Ooh, I like
Can't close one of my hands, but I'm feeling positive.
Getting strong, brother.
Well, can't close his hand. So
he can't close his left hand, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for listening, everybody. God bless. That was awesome. Thanks, brother.
Thank you, my friend.
Oh, yeah, man. It's perfect.
Dude, you're